We've seen some pretty fantastic games come out this year. Expedition 33, Hollow Knight, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Elden Ring Night Rain. I mean, the Game Awards lineup for 2025 is looking pretty solid. But there is one title that has genuinely surprised me, and that's Where Winds Meet. Now, this is a free-to-play open-world RPG. Hold on, let me cook. You can use Tai Chi to throw bears in this game, alright? Let me cook for a moment. But why am I talking about this game? Randomly, out of the blue. Well, you might not know this about me, but I actually have a black belt in Taekwondo. I've also learned that Bruce Lee is a liar.
Oh, don't hit back.
They sure do, Bruce. My arm still hurts. But martial arts and video games are two very big parts of my life, yet they rarely intersect. So when I was offered a sponsorship to play this martial arts RPG set in 10th century China, it kind of felt like the stars aligned. This sponsorship just fell into my lap. So I agreed to play the game and make a video about it on the one condition that I would have total creative freedom, and I can say whatever I want about it. They generously agreed, and we will make them regret that decision. Okay, they got a lot of cosmetics and stuff. Oh, look at all these fits. Wow, okay. Oh, no, put some shoes on. Nope. Yep, shoes. Okay, no gooning allowed. They're cracking down on gooning these days, guys. Spoilers, the biggest criticism I have is that the game sometimes feels like a menu simulator. I just want to stab people with my spear and pull off these insane combos. Where Winds Meet is this bizarre concoction of ingredients that miraculously work together quite well. It's almost as if it's trying to be every kind of open world game. And while it may not be the best in any one category, it does a really good job combining all of these familiar mechanics. It has the design of an MMO without other players stealing your mobs, but it's co-op. So if you want people running around your world, you can. You can play the whole game with a buddy. It has a Dark Souls type messaging system with very few restrictions on what you can say. What the fuck, these comments? I gooned here. And just look at the cutscenes for a moment. Would you believe that this is free to play? It has all of the polish, flair, and graphical fidelity, breadth of content as a full AAA priced $70 game. So if this looks cool, if it looks fun, you could try it without any hassle. Actman, this sounds too good to be true. What's the catch? Well, if you're wondering, the game is not pay to win. You can play and beat the entire game without spending a dime. You can purchase cosmetics and there are gacha mechanics, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. To put it simply, Where Winds Meet is unlike anything I've ever played, and the things I don't particularly enjoy about it are more to do with my own personal tastes, rather than some critical design flaw or oversight. So when playing this game, I'm looking at it from a martial artist perspective. I trained with some of these weapons, so I want to see how they were handled. For better and sometimes worse, Where Winds Meet is loaded with combat mechanics. You can block, parry, dodge, or jump. They went a little crazy here. You have a triple jump. At your disposal are aerial attacks, a ground pound, there's wall running, which is kinda janky, and that's when you remember, oh, this is free to play. But there is a lot of crazy movement tech, and you can fly in this game. Or get different mounts like this army of geese. I love the goose mount, I love it. Some abilities let you freeze enemies in place temporarily. You got quick attacks, charging heavies, stylish execution moves that play a little jingle. There's like 12 different weapon types, each with their own move sets and a variety of special abilities that you can swap out. Not to mention a handful of martial arts skills. Some useful in combat, like the aforementioned bear throw technique, and others are used for puzzle solving. I mean, there's a lot going on here. And the combat for me is the big highlight. It's surprising then that this game recently came to PC, but they also have an Android and iOS port coming in December. And I'll be honest, I don't know how you're going to get this like 99 gigabyte game working on a phone. This is a very ambitious title, and I can't help but wonder if it's making some sacrifices in order to be a mobile game. Mostly in terms of like how the menus and the reward structures work. It is very mobile centric, in the sense that you were kind of bombarded and blasted with all these menus and congratulations, you walked 5 feet, here's some coins and stuff. That type of thing. Combat is flashy and satisfying. It's simple enough that you can basically just button mash and feel like you're a badass. That can get you through some of the easy encounters, but for some of the tougher bosses, you're actually going to have to get good. You find the first major boss after the tutorial in this like upside down city with this red glow, and I don't know where I am, but it looks pretty fucking cool. It's really the complexity of all the systems and numbers and leveling mechanics that kind of takes away from the core combat. In some ways, the complexity of the game can feel detrimental to your ability to just enjoy this really fucking cool martial arts game. Quick question, any of you big into like firearms, history, war? If you are, I bet you can tell pretty quickly when a game or movie fails to be historically accurate, or when the mag catch is not on the right side of a gun. That's how I feel with martial arts. It's kind of like a sixth sense, isn't it? Where you can look at something and tell when it's not being authentic to your lived experience or knowledge of a subject. Where Winds Meet passes the sniff test flawlessly. They hired this guy named Stephen Tung to work on the fight choreography and the move sets. And that's why it feels authentic to me, because these are weapons that I have trained with. This guy has been working as a stuntsman and action choreographer since the age of 16. He is 71 years old. And he understands that there's a difference between how martial arts function in a film versus video games. It's that perfect blend of real martial arts, practical techniques, amplified by fantastical elements that I love so much. Part of the reason why I love Avatar: The Last Airbender. Now, currently, Where Winds Meet has a very respectable rating on Steam, and daily player counts are looking at around 160,000. Let's talk about the community. Can I just show you the funniest part of this game? Kanye West was here. The One Piece does not exist. So Where Winds Meet is set in like 10th century China, but everyone can leave messages, comments, likes, and even selfies, as if we all have cell phones made out of bamboo. There is like no filter on the chat. Let me tell you, they have a very lenient filter. It's not like Elden Ring or Dark Souls where you can only choose from a handful of different words and terms. You might encounter a dog, for example. Let's see what the messages say. Nothing like exploring 10th century China and encountering 21st century meme culture. But that's part of the fun. You never know what's around the next corner in terms of like video game secrets, but you also never know what type of crazy shit you're gonna read when it comes to these comments. So having this number of players is a great benefit to the game. It makes you feel like you're sharing this world with others, except those players don't need to be in your world for you to get that feeling. It's the little things like beating a boss, going through the next hallway, and then reading a message from some other player congratulating you. The way this game is monetized is cosmetic only, and they made sure you have multiple ways to show off your drip. And the character creator is pretty bonkers how many options you have. I looked at this and I was like, nah, I'm sticking with default. That's too much for me. But I always find games like this that let you share your creativity with other players to be a huge benefit. It gives you a reason to participate with the community and feel part of it. On a monetization side, there are gacha mechanics. I've never been a huge gambler, especially when it's like items and currencies. I don't know what they do. But if there's an outfit that's really cool and it feels like it's worth it, then I might buy it. If you're gonna have microtransactions, I just want to be able to buy the thing that I want and that's it. One look at this game's UI is enough to make a man faint. There is so much on screen, as you'd expect from an MMO, but what I often find myself doing is hitting F6 and playing the game like this. It's kind of nice. You even get options at the start for how much you want the game to hold your hand. It's like that Elden Ring UI meme, except you can choose between both of these. Do you want the over-designed checklist of activities scattered across the map? Or do you want to keep it simple and basic? Disable all those pesky icons so you can take in the scenery and explore at your own pace. The choice is yours. Now, the menus in this game are a never-ending labyrinth. I will find parts of the menus that I can't even remember how to get back to. It is over-designed in some aspects, and that's my biggest critique. Perhaps it's a cultural thing. This game is made by a Chinese company, so they probably have different tastes and expectations over there. I can respect that. It's just not what I'm used to. And it is a lot to learn, take in, and understand that it might be overwhelming for some players who prefer to be slowly acclimated to all of the game's mechanics. Especially when you're constantly showered with rewards, currencies, crafting, and upgrade materials, and you just started playing, you don't know what any of this stuff does or is used for. And therefore, when you first start playing, you don't really know what's valuable or not. It's totally free, and the combat is fun enough that the overcomplicated menus and designs are nowhere close to being a deal breaker for me. Now, for those looking to explore a massive world with tons of activities, you want to get lost and go back in time to 10th century China, you will be pleasantly surprised with the amount of content here. The world is almost too big. You can't walk 30 seconds without finding something interesting. A mob of enemies, a secret cave, this magical cat that gives you a puzzle to solve and then rewards you. You might ground pound on some rubble and uncover a secret cave where you then have to light torches to illuminate enemies, fight through it and clear the rubble. There are seemingly hundreds of mini games. Yes, you can fish in Where Winds Meet. I've done it. I'm a champion. But there's also sumo wrestling, platforming time trials. You've got a whole fighting arena. There's this doctor mini game where you can heal animals to improve your own healing flask. You know, in a lot of RPGs, there are those NPCs that are kind of just part of the background. You know, they don't really do anything, you can't interact with them, and that is not the case for Where Winds Meet. I find the majority of the NPCs, or at least half, you can interact with. They might give you a quest, they might sell you something, they could give you tips, points of interest to explore, rumors to go check out. There's dueling arenas, marksman competitions. This big city in the middle, Kaifeng, is ginormous. I don't know if I've seen a city as big as this one in any game I've played. You can play musical instruments and with like rhythm game mechanics, shakedown scam artists in the street. Some of these mini games are pretty fun. Others are a bit questionable. This debate mini game where you use cards like Magic the Gathering, not a big fan of that one. But it's kind of like that Michael Scott quote. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Where Winds Meet takes a lot of shots. It takes a lot of them. Doesn't always hit, but most times it does. Now, MMORPGs are not really renowned for their storytelling. It's usually serviceable, just enough to get you immersed in the world. But unlike even World of Warcraft, this game has some very impressive cutscenes. They also have this really funny feature where you can triple the playback speed of dialogue scenes.
How could it be fully effective?
Right, the anesthesia powder is the full remedies.
That's useful or not. If you can fire in front of your message car.
So if you end up not caring about the story, at least they give you the option to breeze past that as fast as possible. But I often find myself just kind of looking around and watching the behavior of NPCs. The environments are wide and varied, with giant statues and towers in the background, all just waiting for you to explore. The movement abilities like triple jumping, flying, wall running all make the game very seamless to explore. There are fast travel points, but I have yet to use them. It's that kind of game. So I'm genuinely surprised by the quality of this game. Even more shocked that a game of this caliber has seemed to slip through the cracks, gone unnoticed. Not anymore. These days it feels like over here in the US we get $70 mobile games, but Where Winds Meet is the opposite. It's a free AAA game. It don't make no sense. Maybe it's a sign of the times or the differences in culture of video game industries from other countries, but I doubt any US-based developer or publisher is going to put this much effort into a game only to make it free. This is a product clearly from an entirely different market, one I'm not used to, and it's a breath of fresh air. It's a breath of fresh wind, if you will. And because it's not part of some established franchise or brand, there's no existing expectation of it. Because it's free, I'd 100% recommend playing it, at least giving it a shot. It might be something you're into, it might not. But at the end of the day, if you can spare the 100 gigabytes on your hard drive, I'd say go explore the world of Where Winds Meet. But what do you think? Have you tried the game or even heard about it? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Thank you to Where Winds Meet for sponsoring this video. If you would like to check out the Steam page, the link will be down in the description. All right, everyone, that's all I got for today. This is the Act Man signing out. Peace!